On today's show, the San Diego Padres win 3 out of 4 against the Rockies. Is it enough to keep their hopes for the NL West alive? All that and answering some of your questions and comments. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Padres, your daily San Diego Padres podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Locked On Padres podcast, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day for Monday, September 15th. As always, I am your host with sometimes the most, Javier Reyes, and I've been doing this podcast and covering this team for nearly 6 years now, not just for this podcast, but also various other outlets, including JustBaseball.com, chief among them. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today at FanDuel. Go check that out, everybody. And go check out me on the socials, Twitter/X and Blue Sky at Javipeno, JAVIIPENO. I've been hibernating lately, though, on social media, but you can always reach out to me on YouTube. Leave a comment in the description of this video or the comment section of this video, however you want to put it, and I'll get to it, and we'll be answering those questions today after we do a little bit of the notes, the recap from the weekend, what was a pretty great weekend, I think, in all things considered, right? They did not get the sweep that maybe they hoped for, the Padres winning only 3 out of 4, but I say only in quotes, right? Bottom line is, if you look at the wild card standings, the Cubs have 85 wins, Padres at 82, the Mets at 77, so they're 5 games up on the third wild card spot. They're looking pretty good. The Giants are actually creeping in on the Mets lately. That's what's been happening, and the Padres, unfortunately, are still 2 games behind in the NL West. So yeah, they didn't get the ultimate home run of things. The Dodgers unfortunately played well this weekend too, but they did get enough done, and at least we are at that point where it's like, okay, the red alert scare, it seems to be over, right? Remember last week we had the bad series against the Twins, you had the bad series against the Orioles, and then it's like, oh no, if we don't play well against Colorado necessarily, and then we have the Reds coming to town, this could get a little bit messy, especially because the Reds at the time weren't contending for that spot, and they still are technically, but it seems like that part is over with. One scare is out of the way. Now, whether or not the Padres can win the division, that, in my opinion, is looking increasingly unlikely. The fact that they started this month so poorly, the fact that prior to this weekend they have lost 11 of their last 16, or along those lines. Jake Ariani of CBS 8 Sports and I talked about it on Fun Fridays episode, so go check that out. The fact that they started off that way, just kind of cemented, it feels like you guys are probably not going to win the division. I'd like to get a better seeding. That would be great. It's not over yet, but for now, let's talk about the games, everybody. Firstly, the only bad game of the weekend, in which the Padres lose 4-2. Let's go over that really, really quickly. In this game, though, it seems like the same kind of reason as usual, right? Starting pitching does not go long in this game. Only 4 1/3 from our guy JP Sears, with 8 strikeouts, which was nice, but he does give up 4 earned runs on 5 hits, and he kind of lets it all go in the 4th inning. It was looking pretty good at first. Manny Machado, a home run of that one to start, but then he gives up 2 home runs, one to Blaine Crim and then one to Kyle Farmer, and the Padres really couldn't get back into it after that. Arraez 1 for 4 in the game. Tatis 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. This is the hold on. This is Friday's game, right? So really, really bad. Manny Machado 2 for 3 from him with the home run and the walk. That was cool. But otherwise, that's basically it. O'Hearn gets a single. It's just not great. It's just not great. But although shout out to Kevin Sheets, he did get a double in this one, so shout out to him. But not much else to say other than just that's the classic reason the Padres have been losing lately, right? Like when they do not have that starting pitcher able to go deep into the game. Granted, it is the Rockies, and you should play better against a team that basically has no pitching, and you didn't score at all on a Friday night. But I digress, right? Not a great showing, though, and especially not a great showing consider that they only won their first game of this series 2-0. Which is great. Don't get me wrong. You love winning a game like that, and you especially love a game when Randy friggin' Vasquez goes absolutely off for by far, and I mean by far, his best start of the year, guys. I mean, this was something to behold, folks. Where were you the night that Randy Vasquez went absolutely insane in this game? Randy Vasquez manages to go 6 innings, giving up only 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and striking out 9. I mean, what else can I say, right? The sinker was working. The cutter was working. He was even throwing sweepers. He was even throwing fastballs for a decent amount. Not a lot of contact, really, in that regard, and not giving up a lot of hard hits either, especially with the sinker and cutter. Granted, though, obviously, it is the Rockies, right? Like, this is potentially one of the worst teams in Major League history. So it's not necessarily like a ringing endorsement that Randy Vasquez has figured something out. But what I will say is the Padres have faced some really poor teams lately. And guys like Dylan Cease, guys like Yu Darvish have struggled against those poor, mediocre teams. So a guy like Randy Vasquez starting like this is pretty cool. His last 3 appearances, 6 innings, no earned runs, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. And then the one before that, the Dodgers, he was quite bad, 3 2/3 only in that game. But overall, the guy has been, he's just been the guy in terms of defying statistics. Right, not in terms of ERA, right? Obviously, he's got a nice ERA in the season. I'm fully aware of that 3.72, but defying his hard hit ball data statistics. The fact that he's always walking batters, the fact that he doesn't get enough strikeouts, right? The fact that he doesn't put the ball on the ground. So those combinations of you get hit hard, you walk everybody, and you're getting hit hard and they're elevating it, that usually means something bad, but for whatever reason, Vasquez picks the right pitches in the right spots, and he's defying those things. And I don't care about Randy Vasquez as a guy who could be a playoff starter. I don't think he's that at all. I don't even think he's necessarily a guy that you're going to be really excited about heading into next year. But for right now, when this team needed innings, he's shown up a lot more this year than players that should be showing up. Dylan Cease being a main one that we can think of. Michael King, albeit because of injury. Yu Darvish working his way back from injury. JP Sears, some of these other guys. He's done a lot and he deserves a lot of credit. So shout out to Randy Vasquez, just continuing to defy the odds. Right? And Robert Suarez gets the save in this one. We love him very much. Bouncing back from what was a bad outing his last time. But hey, it happens, right? Everybody has a mistake every now and then. Everybody leave Suarez alone. You know what I mean? I'm starting to come back around and defending this guy. He's still got some issues, Robert Suarez, obviously. He's still a guy that I don't know how he's going to age, given that he doesn't get a lot of strikeouts. He is 34, with that fastball being a little bit more straight than you might like, and his secondary offerings not always being on point, although lately it's been a little bit better, especially with his changeup. You take what you get, right? And so far on the season, as of this time, he's got a low 3 ERA. What else could you hope for? But after those 2 games, the Padres win 2 and then lose 0-2. Naturally, people are like, are you kidding me? I know that we're at Petco now and not in Coors Field where it's offensive palooza over there. You're hitting on the moon. But even still, you don't like to see that from your offense. And thankfully, that was not the final appearance of the Padres offense. They did not go quietly into the night. They did not vanish without a fight, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk about it. But first, we got to talk to you guys about our friends over at FanDuel. We love FanDuel very, very much. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for every week's kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your first bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the whole app. It's great. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. Let me ask you guys, are you ready to play? You ready to show down? You ready to throw down with FanDuel? Well, you can. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet for your $300 in bonus bets. Go check it out, everybody. But also, be sure to go check out our friends at Prize Picks, ladies and gentlemen. We love Prize Picks as well on this show, because it is the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right actually means cashing in on those correct, lovely decisions. And with football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and easiest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections. That's right. This is a quick thing. It's not going to take long, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. You just pick more or less. So say it's like Dak Prescott, right? Like 0.5 passing yards. All you have to do is pick over under on all these different things. You want to get receiving yards for Keenan Allen in tonight's game, or receiving yards at Emeka Egbuka, that's the exciting rookie for the Buccaneers. Whatever you want to do, just pick more or less, and you get those W's, and then you can cash in and win on your lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB, again, for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good and fantastic and lovely to be right. And just like that, everybody, we are back thriving and vibing here on this podcast Monday, September 15th. All my everydayers, we're happy to have you back here on the Locked On Padres channel. Let's talk about Saturday and Sunday's games really quickly, in which the offense actually showed up. Saturday, 11-3 victory for the Padres. That wasn't all, though. Dylan Cease, really quickly with him. Dylan Cease, 6 innings in this one, only 1 earned run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks. I understand it's the Rockies. I understand. You got to preface everything that the team did this weekend with the fact that it's the Rockies. But even still, the way that they've been playing lately, I shout out to Dylan Cease. He hasn't given up more than 2 runs in his last 3 starts. Granted, they have not been the lengthiest of starts. He only went 4 innings against Baltimore, for example, and he only went 5 innings against the Rockies. But 6 innings against them, at least he's just giving us innings. That's literally all we can hope for from Dylan Cease at this point, especially with how he could blow up. I remember he gets through the 4th inning. You're like, oh God, here it comes, here it comes. Doesn't actually end up happening this time. The only thing that happens is a Jordan Beck RBI single in the top of the 1st. And other than that, just 1 double in the top of the 8th inning, and the Padres had a hitting palooza on display, folks, let me tell you. So good, in fact, that they actually pinch hit for Fernando Tatis Jr. later in the game with Bryce Johnson, who also hit a home run, by the way. And Tatis hit a home run in this one, 2 for 3 with a home run and a walk. You absolutely love to see it. And again, we've talked about this before, but Tatis's home run power and slugging has been on display more lately, and that is fantastic. In fact, I believe it is since what is it? This is September 3rd, so that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So he's got 4 home runs in his last 11 games or so, based on just the quick read right here, because I did feel like doing it precisely. But you guys get my point. He's been hitting for a little bit more slugging, not as many doubles, but he's doing the walks as always, getting hits, getting on base, raising his OPS to over 800 on the season. I mean, he really has been. If this is just who Tatis is for the rest of his career, which is an electric defender with great speed, incredible on-base skills, maybe hits 25 home runs a year, maybe steals 30 bags a year, guys, that's like a star player and someone who could be headed to the Hall of Fame. I'm being dead serious. This is a good player, even if that crazy runaway offensive stuff that you see from your other MVPs, contenders, especially in the National League, isn't necessarily there. It's still really, really good, though. None the same. Luis Arraez in the spot as well, 2 for 5. That's very nice. 2 for 3 for Manny Machado with a home run in this one. That's right. Manny Machado started to come alive. Thank God. They really need him. We've talked about this a lot of this show. He's been miserable the last few days, man. Really, really bad. And in the Friday game, goes 0 for 4, right? So not great. But he also had 2 home runs in this series this weekend. It's just, what else could you hope for? Right, you're just hoping that Manny Machado can get back to being what he usually has been. He's been slugging more. Love to see it. It's one of those things where I'm not set about him as in total, but hopefully the guys that have been struggling in this lineup, seeing some go through the hoop, that could be big for them. Gavin Sheets doesn't do anything in this game. Roman Laureano has 3 RBIs. Shout out to him with a RBI double. Jackson Merrill with a solo shot as well. I believe it was a solo shot. Was it a solo shot? Yes, it was at the bottom of the 3rd inning, right after Manny Machado hit his. Good stuff. Overall, just a nice offensive day. Even Elias Diaz goes 2 for 4. It's what they need. And again, Bryce Johnson, he homers as well. It's just nice to see this offense do anything, right? This is an offense that hasn't been slugging for a long time. Dare I say even all season, and as of late, has been really bad against poor competition. So yes, it's the Rockies, but it's still just, again, like I said, it's good to just see some go through the hoop, get some W's. You absolutely need it. Things got scary, though, in Sunday's game. They did win 9-6, but it got real scary, right? The Padres at one point in this game were up 7-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And by the end of it, the Rockies scored pretty heavy, right? They actually made it a one-run game in the top of the 7th inning, and then thankfully Gavin Sheets puts things away with a RBI double, 2 RBI double. But in total in this game, Tatis 3 for 4 with a walk and a stolen base. Jackson Merrill in the 2 spot, which I thought was interesting, going 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and the home run. Like I said, Merrill, he's been heating up lately. Can he heat up and return to the batter that we know and love? Is the sophomore slump going to end? a little bit later than we would have hoped, right? We wish that this actually ended like back in June or May, right? That would have been nice. But instead, hey, better late than never, right? So for our guy Jackson Merrill, great game from him. Love to see it. Like I said with Gavin Sheets with the home run as well, or the double. I'm sorry, the RBI double as well. Jay Cronenworth, he goes 2 for 3 and actually hits up higher in the order this time. He hits 6th in the lineup because we had an absence of not only just Luis Ariz but also Manny Machado from this game, so they got creative. O'Hearn at first base, Jay Cronenworth there. Jose Iglesias goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs in this game. Freddie Fermin goes 2 for 4 with an RBI in this game. Mason McCoy even gets a hit in this game, so a nice offensive palooza. And they needed it because the Padres almost blew this one. Yu Darvish, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, not bad. It's the bullpen. Morejon and Estrada both getting hit kind of hard in this one. 2 earned runs from Adrian Morejon and then 1 from Jeremiah Estrada. Thankfully, though, Mason Miller comes in, gets the hold, 3 Ks, no hits, and 1 1/3, by the way. So they did use him for more, and it was good. At first, I was like, Shildt, what are we doing? We don't want to like push the bullpen any more than we have to. Maybe we should still have Yu Darvish try and go 1 more inning. But instead, I forgot there's an off day today, so they actually have some extra rest. So that's very good. And then Robert Suarez comes in and gets 3 Ks. So making a lot of people who said certain comments this week look a little silly, like the following, folks. Let's talk about some of the comments we got this week. At Vapes Fan 666 says, Dodgers fan here keeps Suarez as the closer. Wow. Just that's what a shot from Dodger fans. I love the unbiased Dodgers fans in the comments. Again, I maintain my belief. You're not going to change a guy who ERA wise is more than a run and a half worse when he's not in the closer role. Or I should say not in a save situation, as opposed to a guy who's been like a solid closer. Like, is he going to have some moments? And do I think in the playoffs that maybe it might behoove the Padres and Mike Shildt to potentially say, all right, maybe if it's the bottom of the order, let's use Suarez in the 8th inning here, and then maybe have Mason Miller come in if it's a really, really dangerous part of the lineup. Sure, I get that, but I also won't be against it because, like I said this year, I do think there's something to be said for closer experience, and second of all, and more importantly, just the flow of the game. Right? Like, bottom line is they're humans. We don't get why this is the case. But for whatever reason, Suarez has literally pitched better in save situations this year. He has like a 3.8 ERA and non-save. Nothing, that's not horrible, but a 2.12 in save situations, that's the type of stuff that I'm like, all right, let's just keep it for now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you still hopefully could use Mason Miller, guys. Like, it's not like he won't be useful. He could still give you that inning where he's doing nothing but striking guys out, throwing that slider that looks the exact same as a fastball until it's too late, and then the fastball goes 104. Just incredible stuff. So while the Dodger people will hate, I get it. I think the only thing with Suarez could be going forward in the future. It's definitely not a player that, if reason arises, that they will need to desperately want to keep. At least that's just my opinion, though. Another comment from Suarez about Suarez, I should say, from Kamaka07. I'm no Padres fan, but Suarez's collapse began the second he beamed Ohtani and peaked when Miller was acquired. So this is just statistically not true. The Robert Suarez fears started a long time ago. For those who don't remember, I've said this before, but if you look at his month-by-month splits, he actually was really bad the second month of the season, which is what scared the crap out of me. And I thought, oh no, my fears heading into the season are coming true, right? He had a 4.35 ERA, then he had a 7.84. And no, Suarez, when they faced the Dodgers again, he had a 1.8 ERA in July and a 1.54 in August. He's been good. He just has had some real bad slip-ups every now and then, but being an elite closer for 2 months, getting all these saves, 7 and 5, respectively, in July and August, and he's got 3 so far, and he especially bounced back after that 1-2-run home run that he gave up, right? So, no, Suarez is not horrible, and no, Dodgers fans, you're not the main character in everything. Everything isn't just about you guys. I know that's hard to believe, but no, it's not because of the beating of Shohei Ohtani, right? Let's relax. Let's relax a little bit. And by the way, our guys got hit 7 times in that series. But anyway, we're not done, guys. We got some more questions and comments to get into, including, as always, as per tradition as of late, the bad faith questions on Luis Ariz. But folks, before we get into those aforementioned bad faith, and in some ways good faith, questions, let me talk to you guys really quickly about another sponsor. That is Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, yeah, okay, whatever, that actually works. I don't believe you. But I understand it, man. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. And that's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. And work, too, though. Make it work too. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. It's really great, guys. And you can feel good about it knowing Nutrafol is NSF certified and backed by a bunch of peer-reviewed studies. It's great. 4 pills with a meal. No prescription needed. It's easy. It's great, guys. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, Nutrafol.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Go check it out. And just like that, everybody, we are back here thriving and vibing into the final waiting moments of this podcast. Let's talk about some of the mailbag questions and comments that we got. First of all, I got to give a shout out to my guy. Where are you? Where's your comment? I know you sent one. My guy, Phoenix Ash 927, who just says, Merrill, Tatis, and Machado are all finding their power at the right time. Padres are 6-2 in Cease's last 8 games, apparently. I did not know that. Michael K. Weeks coming back nicely. And no, I don't care that it's against the Rockies. If I'm doing the math right, our magic number is 6 once we finish off the Rockies. Currently 6-0 on Sunday, which is correct. And they ended up winning that game. Fantastic position to be in with 12 to go. And they still have a chance of clinching a playoff spot when I'm there Thursday as a little early birthday present going to Wednesday and Thursday's game. Side note, major shout out for taking a hiatus from the socials, referencing me. First of all, thank you on that. I have felt very, very good just taking a break. I am lurking on Padres Reddit, though. I will tell everybody. That's where I've been lurking. If you want to find me, you might see me like make a couple comments in the game thread. Maybe. I don't want everybody looking for me, but I do check that out just to see like live reactions from fans and stuff for the show. But I'm staying off social media other than that because at least with Padres Reddit, I don't have to have the fear that something else is going to crash through the window and say, "Hey, check out this thing that bad that just happened." It's really, really tough. But I agree, man. Look. Bottom line is clinching the playoffs is the most important thing, and that will be the best thing. We don't know once they get into the playoffs what will happen, and I hope it's good. I really do, because I think that this is just one of those teams that really it hasn't been the best vibes all year, but oftentimes most baseball teams aren't, right? There's only like 6 teams every year that you're like, wow. Watching throughout the whole season was a treat. It's usually the best teams, right? Like if you're a Phillies fan, if you're an Astros fan, a little bit though. I know the Astros are blowing it right now. The Tigers, right? Teams like that, you're usually just kind of like miserable the whole way through baseball. Someone has a great tweet where it's like, baseball fans love baseball so much that they complain about it the entire season. It's some old tweet like that. Go look it up. It's really, really funny. At Joe Garrison 2344 says, I like your show. And wow, what are you going to do when your best hitter goes into a major slump? Right? Why are you blaming Mike Shildt? Maybe Shildt is thinking, keep Manny in 3rd place, not rock that boat back into the playoffs, and the pitching staff gets well, Manny figures it out, pray that Ryan O'Hearn gets out, etc., etc. I agree. My title, where I said crisis, look, guys, what can I say? I click baited everybody. What can I say with that one? I am one of those people who's not blaming Mike Shildt. I know my guy Big Jim, who's the host of the postcast. Check that out. Not tonight because there's no game, but after all the games, and I'm going to appear on them as well sometimes. Just because maybe I need to check my guy. I need to see what he's been saying, if he's saying anything crazy over there. But seriously, go check it out. It's always a lot of fun. But I'm not blaming Mike Shildt. I did have incidents and specific examples that I did. I didn't like the Jackson Merrill bunt, for example. I haven't liked necessarily that Ariz is still in the number 2 spot. I thought, well, let's shake it up a little bit. And I think that he has been shaking up, by the way. To that point, I think he has been. I think he deserves credit. And after this weekend series, it's clear we're going to be okay. The only thing bad that could have happened was that the Padres got swept, and then we're like, oh my God, like, what if the Padres really implode this month? Like, could Shildt get fired? Like, that's the type of thing that, like, was worst case scenario, but I really think that that's gone and out of the way. And in general, I do not blame Mike Shildt. I think that it's very easy to blame the manager. I think there are things that I criticize his decisions, but as a whole, again, I'm looking at it this way. He is probably going to be the manager in the AJ Preller era who has had their 2 best seasons. Bob Melvin, the 3rd best season, right? I think that that's what's probably going to happen, right? Depending on how they finish this thing out, they probably win like 89 games. Maybe they get to 90. And then if so, that would make it, right? Bob Melvin won 89 games. Shildt won 93 last year. right? And then this year, especially with some of the mistakes, all that sort of stuff, a lot of the injuries too as of late, right? We've had Merrill in and out. You've had Michael King in and out. You've had Darvish really struggling to get back healthier. I remember he was supposed to come back in June, right? So that's how I feel about it. Mike Shildt not to blame. I think that this offense just has not been good enough. But another question from @Nanis Blurred says, watched the Rockies broadcast yesterday, and their color guy said he was in San Diego to see the Padres Reds game and felt the Padres have the wrong focus. Instead of just playing to win that night's game, they're so focused on passing the Dodgers, they're playing tight. I don't know if I agree with that, especially because it comes from a Rockies broadcaster. Like, of course they're going to say that, and it feels like it could be maybe inextricably tied to the classic thing that everybody loves getting on, which is Manny Machado, right? The no Johnny hustle. I've noticed, I'm not saying this with you, my lovely questionnaire. I'm saying this more because in my experience, I've listened to other broadcasts for opposing teams, and they allude to straight flat out bring up the Manny Machado quote that he's no Johnny hustle. And it's like, bro, that was literally like 6 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so long since then, and Manny still plays basically as many games, if not more, than every other player in the sport, right? He's always available. So I've always hated that critique. Yeah, he's not going to outrun a ball that he smoked to the shortstop. You know why? Because it's hit really hard. They're probably not going to mess up. They would literally have to have a throwing error. So he runs enough to the point where, yeah, I'll make it if it's throwing error. Otherwise, what am I doing here? And he stays healthy. So what else could you hope for? Next question, though. One more. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to save the Arise stuff for my guy, Tony Sue. I'm going to save it for tomorrow's episode, because tomorrow's episode we have a day off today. So I might, I'm not sure if I might have to do a fun Friday early. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly for that game, but that is where I'm going to save some of these extra questions, guys. But let's end with this. Probably not surprising from Tony Sue that I don't agree with much said about the Padres on this podcast, except, I'm sorry. Oh, give me 1 second. Probably not surprised, but I don't agree with much said about the Padres pitching on this podcast, except that I hear more favorable comments about Vasquez's pitching, although damned with faint praise about hard hit rates. My opinion about hard hit rates is consistent with my opinion about hitting philosophy. I don't agree what is often said on this channel. Although it's a stat that's interesting, it's secondary if it doesn't produce a hit. In my opinion, it's one of the more useless stats if the hard ball contact is always on the ground when needed and directly at someone. It's worrisome only if the batter can get elevation. The ball either leaves the ballpark or is often hit into the gaps. So here's the thing. You're both wrong and right, Tony Sue. And what I mean by that is you are right in the sense that it's not the be all and end all, right? And this goes for batters too. Literally, your guy, Luis Ariz, who we're going to talk about your question tomorrow, right? Your guy literally is not a good hard hit rate guy. He's really does not hit the ball very hard at all, but he's been a productive hitter. And you can look at guys. So, for example, one might be Brandon Marsh, who's a guy who's always had a hard hit rate. Right? Like, he's always been up there, but he doesn't hit very well, right? Like, he's just not that good of a hitter overall. So it's not a be all and end all. But I like looking at these more in-depth things because it tells you, for example, if Eric Hosmer or let's say Adam Frazier, I think is a better example. Adam Frazier was like a 300 hitter and an all-star, and the Padres traded for him. And the reason why hard hit rate is important is because when you looked at his quality of contact, it showed nothing really changed. So what does that mean? What it means is you might just be getting lucky with ground balls that happen to sneak through. And that usually means you're not as amazing of a hitter, especially if you don't have speed. There have been great ground ball hitters of the past, right? Like Ichiro Suzuki hit the ball on the ground. But the fact that he made contact with everything, he never really struck out, and he had incredible speed is what made him such a great batter, right? So what I'm trying to say with hard hit rate is just, I like looking at the advanced stats because it will tell you something. And as you mentioned, it doesn't matter if they're hitting it hard if they're not elevating. Well, that's somewhat true, but in the case of Randy Vasquez, the whole point that I've had is they are elevating. He's in the 9th percentile of barrel rate. He's in the, the 62nd percentile of hard hit rate. So it's not terrible, but he is getting barreled. Barreled means not only do you hit the ball hard for exit velocity, but you're also lifting it. The launch angle is high. And 62nd percentile for hard hit rate suggests, okay, he doesn't get hit too hard. He's kind of managing to hang in there. But barrel rate in the 9th percentile, ground ball rate in the 33rd percentile tells you he's not generating the weak contact on the ground, which suggests that he's probably going to give up some big home runs. But again, what I love about him is he's defying the stats. So again, I like using that stat just because it's a nice beginner advanced stat, I think, for people who are listening and watching this video, wherever you get this podcast, right? That's why I like to use it. I don't know. I just find it helpful, and it's so easy to look at just ERA, and it's like, well, guys, I promise you, GMs and people around the league, they don't just look sort spreadsheet and go ERA, oh, that's the best guy, or lower walks, oh, that's the best guy, or more strikeouts, oh, that's the best guy. Because if that were the case, it shouldn't be that hard to win a World Series then, right? So that's my point on that. And with that point, I want to conclude today's mostly celebratory podcast, and we'll continue with answering some of your questions and comments, including whatever ones you guys leave on this channel and on this episode today in the comments section for tomorrow, September 16th. But until that next time, stay safe and, of course, stay faithful. My Friday Faithful homies, take care.